Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, good evening. So welcome to this impromptu Tuesday night all in, with just myself. Good evening, Dreadeye, Julie. Nice to see you. I'm just going to go over a few things because I built the slides up for the show on Friday and they're already at 27, so I thought I'd whittle them down before we end up doing a 4-hour Friday night, which we're not going to do a 4-hour Friday night. So let's start. Let's start with this. So this was a plane crash in Toronto. I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or this morning, early hours of this morning. Delta commercial jet, a commercial regional jet. So it's one of those like a cigar plane, you know, the dead long with the thin wings. So it tried to land, well, it did land at Toronto Airport in a snowstorm with a crosswind, a fairly strong crosswind, 27 to 35 gusting. Plane's only designed to take 35 knots in a crosswind. It's not designed to land at anything higher than that. Now, the crosswind wasn't straight across it, so it was at an angle. So 35 knots means it should have been below the safe limit for the plane to land, which is fine. But more to the point, we have got stacks and stacks of people going on about, you know, what's going on in the skies? Why are all these planes crashing? Well, I mean, this is an accident. You know, I mean, the plane landed fine. Well, it didn't land fine, and we'll go into that. But it's like, even Morgan Freeman's on, going, what's going on. This never happened under Biden, It's like, for God's sake, people. Do you remember what happened under Biden? Like, bridges been collided into and knocked down by massive cargo ships. Maui going on fire. California going on fire. Train derailments and poison gas everywhere. So, yeah, these accidents happen. This is an accident. It's not a psyop. Unless you can tell me how you manage to make a commercial jet flip itself so that it's inverted when it comes to rest on the runway and everybody survives. They were so lucky. So if you've seen the full video, and I'm not going to show it, but if you've seen the full video, the plane comes into land and he comes down hard. He was obviously wanting to get it on the deck because it was a crosswind and he's coming down quickly. And I think something's either happened just before he landed. So it's either stalled or the wind's dropped or something and the plane has sunk into the concrete. It's hit it that hard that the strut's gone through the wing and caused a fire at that point. You could see the fire. So the undercarriage has collapsed on at least one side. When that went down, the wind has obviously picked up the other wing, which is still generating lift, and flipped the plane over. It's an accident. These things happen. It's a rare accident, but you can't orchestrate something like this. And then for everybody to survive it, because the plane didn't go on fire. I think maybe as a combination of the snowstorm, the cold temperatures, and the fire engines getting there pretty quickly. So, yeah, you can't fake this. And to think you can is just ridiculous. Some people are losing it. They really are. And to think this is anything to do with the recently announced FAA layoffs because he's cut jobs in the Federal Airline Authority. It's not going to make any difference. This was Canada. People are stupid. They are so freaking stupid. I just can't get... Sometimes I despair. I really do. So yeah, and when you saw the people coming out of the plane, that was even worse. Because these guys, here's another one. Yeah, and passengers are coming out filming it as if they're on a holiday. That's jet fuel that's lying about, and because if it was water, it would be freezing. That's jet fuel that's lying about, pouring off the plane and running into the big puddle. So anyway, something's going on in the skies, and it's getting harder to ignore. 4 major plane crashes, 85 lives lost, 15 aviation incidents in just the first 6 weeks of 2025, and now a Delta jet just flipped on the runway in Toronto, adding to the chaos. So what's changed? Nothing's changed, mate. Nothing. It's life. Accidents happen. Get a grip. These people are just losing it. Just losing it. And then, of course, there was the copium. The copium when J.D. Vance gave his speech at the Munich, and that was a joy. Let's move on. So, J.D. Vance gives his speech at the Munich Security Conference, laying it into all the countries that are censoring free speech. And he's right, they are censoring free speech. The UK's censoring free speech, we know that just now. I'm surprised I'm still here, to be honest. People are getting locked up for saying stupid... No, people aren't saying stupid things. People are getting locked up for having an opinion. That's what's happening. The law is, in this case, a complete and utter ass. This isn't justice. You don't lock people up for having an opinion unless you're in the Stasi or Stalin's KGB we literally are behaving like the Soviet Union. I just don't get this at all. It's abhorrent. And the majority of the sheep that watch the BBC and voted Labour, they're just going along with it. And, remember, all those stories about, first they came for your neighbour, then they came for the guy down the hall, and then they came for you. They all originated round about the time Stalin did his big clearances. And it'll happen here. You got to stand up for each other, and if you don't, then you have no hope. But anyway, so Vance is ripping into everyone in the EU because the EU really are censorship mad, aren't they? I mean, Germany wants to ban TikTok or X or whatever. But anyway, Vance says that Scotland's pretty bad because the people in Scotland got a letter if they lived near a prescribed zone where you're not allowed to pray silently. They got a letter saying that they might actually be in trouble even if they did it in their own house. And everybody's going, that's not the case. They did not. He's a liar. Well, there's the letter. And that's exactly what it says. In general, the process applies in a public place within the safe access zones. However, activities in a private place, such as a house, within the area between the protected premises and the boundary of a zone, could be an offence if they can be seen or heard within the zone and are done intentionally or recklessly. So you can be guilty of an offence if you prayed in your house and could be seen from the zone or heard. Nobody said anything about silently. Vance didn't mention the word silently when it came to Scotland. He said private. And if you're sitting in your garden, that's a private place, but not as far as that legislation's concerned, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, good evening, Beats and Tapes, Dread-Eye, Julie, Robin, Espresso Mechanic TV. Who else we got? Is that it at the moment? Yeah, they are off the rockers, Julie. You're right. They're completely. We don't need all this legislation. It's like I was talking about, I believe, on Sunday when I said, we just seem to be getting more and more laws because, let's face it, the Prime Minister's a lawyer and every problem is solved by another new law. There's no need for it. We've got plenty of legislation. Common sense covers most of this. Oh, right. Robin, this is a point. Can I just ask you, mate? When you're replying to comments on YouTube, could you keep them relevant to the actual video that you're talking about? If you want to, I have no problem with you talking to me personally here or on Twitter or whatever if you want to discuss something else, but try and keep the comments relative to the video. That'd be great. Thanks. Right. You are eclectic. Yes, I'll give you that. Right. So this, I don't know when this was issued, right? But this is another thing that will come on to. Police issue second mugshot of convicted female British ISIS after she complained the first picture showed her without a head covering. I mean, people shouldn't be issuing the picture with the head covering because, what happens if she escapes? How are we meant to identify her? The whole thing's ridiculous, And then to issue a second picture with a head covering just makes a whole mockery of the justice system. And, oh no, it's okay. I thought there was 6 foot there for a second. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Now, here's an interesting one. So apparently the US Army have activated this and they've said that any soldiers who were separated, I think that means let go, due to certain vaccine refusals are now welcome to come back. You can still be all you can be with back pay. it's not fair because they should never have been let go in the first place. But it's the right thing to do to give them back pay. So yeah, I think that's good. But how many are going to go back? Would you, if they'd done this to you, would you go back? If you were a serving officer in any of the military services, would you do that? Hi Stuart, nice to see you. Matthew, nice to see you, mate. Get the back pay and leave as soon as you can. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, it's I think Matthew's got the right idea. Go back for the back pay, and then maybe do 2 or 3 months, and then either get very ill or, if you can, just bail out. It's sometimes I think Ukrainians are a victim of their own propaganda. I mean, the Kursk invasion must be recognised as a success for the Ukrainian armed forces, even despite its doom. I shouldn't be laughing because they're still sending people in and they're just getting wiped out now. I think Zelensky's lost it. Have you heard them speaking recently? Have you seen him speaking recently? It's almost as if he is in such a state that he's either addled his brain or he is so high he doesn't know what the hell's going on. The guy has really lost it. He needs to be sorted out. And of course, I think that's part of why Trump doesn't want him involved in the conversations, because he would just what would you call it? He would just torpedo them, wouldn't he? Yeah, they catch up with you in the end, don't they, Espresso? The drugs, they catch up with you in the end. Right, where's my mouse gone? Here we are. So Keith here. He just looks freaking ridiculous. I mean, look at him. He doesn't look right. There's something wrong with the guy. Even cosplaying in an army uniform or army combats, he doesn't look right. You can still see he's got a shirt and collar on. But anyway, apart from that, Keith here wants to put UK troops into Ukraine as peacekeepers, and it didn't go down well because he floated this idea at the little meeting, didn't he? He floated this idea at the meeting with the other 6 countries that turned up. I think, I'm not quite sure who it was. Germany, France, Italy were there. Probably Poland, because they're a bit mental as well. That guy Tusk, don't like him. Don't have any time for him. But yeah, and Schultz just lost it and said it was a ridiculous and divisive idea and stormed out. So that didn't go well. I think NATO is on its last legs. It's going to go down, and if America does what it says it's going to do, like leave things to Europe to sort out, which I think they probably want to because it's getting expensive. I think NATO's just going to die. So that guy Kellogg was on talking to the Europeans while everybody's gone out to Saudi Arabia to have these preliminary peace talks, and Lavrov was on earlier on saying that the plan that Kellogg had told the Europeans, they floated it with Rubio and whoever else was with them at the talks in Saudi Arabia, and they basically turned around and goes, "Yeah, that's just fake." So it's like the big boys gave the little boy something to do while they went and did the real thing. They just gave him make work and just wound up the Europeans even more because they're completely out of the loop and they're being fed nonsense. Which, it's all part of Trump's games, but think Europe needs to be taken down a peg or two because they've been too warmongery and nobody wants to go to war. This is the part I don't get. You know, seriously, do people want to go to war? I don't. I don't think you guys do. I don't think the majority of the people I know and speak to want to go to war. Especially after a battle-hardened superpower that's got all its factories in full flow. I mean, Russia is on a war footing right now. It's recruiting and is building and making more weapons, coming up with new weapons that we can't touch. So why would anyone want to go to war on that basis? Surely you would have... I mean, how long would it take us to scale up? Can we even scale up? Because we can't make steel. If we can't make steel, how are we going to make tanks? How are we going to make ships? How are we going to make aircraft? You know, because let's face it, the days of being able to ship stuff across the Atlantic if you're at war, or bring it over from the Far East or whatever, you know, through the Suez and all that, you can forget that. Because the missiles and weapons and tracking systems we've got now and submarines, nothing's going to cross in a boat. So how are you going to get steel? If you can't make it, how are you going to get it? How will you even get iron ore to make steel? Just what's changed? It's beyond all recognition. This is not the Second World War anymore, and anyone that thinks that we can fight a war on those terms, they're off their nut. And remember, Russia's army is about twice the size of all of Europe's. Just crazy. Anyway, right, moving on. This went well. Do you remember this guy at the Munich security conference? This is a guy who was mocking Trump in 2018. And then when he closed the security conference after Trump told them that he wasn't getting any more money and they had to look after themselves, he was crying. He had to walk off. He was literally crying. I was crying too, with laughter. It's great. It's great to see. Now, CBS did a thing. They went on a dawn raid with the German police, who were locking up people for being offensive and saying hurtful words on social media, much like we do. And then they had a conversation with these guys who are politicians, I believe. And one of the questions was, is posting an insult a crime? Yes, said the German prosecutors. Sorry, not politicians. The interviewer goes, is it a crime to report a lie? Yes. To repost a lie? Yes. And then they said, is that a crime to insult someone face to face? Yes. Is that a crime to insult someone online? Yes. And in fact, if you insult someone online, it's worse. It's worse because the insult never goes away. These guys have lost it. I mean, you imagine you post something insulting about Starmer and you get the jail. I think it's going to be that far away that this is going to happen here. You cannot insult your politicians. I mean, did that not just happen, actually? Somebody had written a letter to, I think, to Cannes, and one of the MPs down there. They'd written a letter, and they got locked up for 28 weeks because they said things that were hurty towards ethnic groups, religious ethnic groups. I just hate it. Elon Musk confirmed yesterday that this offer still holds. He will still honour this offer. He will give them $1 billion if they change to Wikipedia. That offer's been on the table since October 2023. No, beats and tapes. If you are small, you can't sue people for calling you small because they're just stating a fact. That's not offensive. That's just a fact. So, beats and tapes is good. Right, moving on. Putin again, I think it's either trolling the West or people are making up things that assume he's trolling the West, but even so, it's still funny. So Putin has announced that a Russian alternative to Eurovision will be held in Moscow this year. The Intervision Song Contest will focus on traditional family values, unlike the extravagant gay-friendly performances at Eurovision. Do you approve? Yes, of course we do. Because Eurovision's lost itself. And then there was this little thing about Baron Trump. I just don't get this. So the New York University College Republicans president, Kaya Walker, calls Baron Trump an oddity on canvas. Yeah, because he goes to class and he goes home. So he's obviously doing his studies and then going home, whereas the rest of them are all out on the piss, no doubt. And he's not. I mean, he strikes me as a kind of serious boy, you know what I mean? But no reason to call him an oddity. Having said that, she's now been forced to resign her position. Not by anything that Barron said, but because the governing body of the union or the students' union or something said that's not the kind of comment that we would expect from our president. So they've asked her to resign, and she has. Again, I don't think that was required. I mean, he is a bit of an oddity if he's a student and he goes to class and just goes home. Because let's face it, most students are out just ripping the piss, aren't they? So I don't think it was fair in that respect. This is good. This is Musk's social security audit. That's shown the people in the social security database who are still alive according to the records. So we have normal humans up to the age of 109. We have 4,734,407 Americans over the age of 100 and under the age of 109. That's a lot. We'll call that's a normal human group, them and below, okay? Then we have, 3.6, 3.4. We've got about, there's 15, 16. Probably about 17 million people who are in the age group 110 to 229. Those people are apparently still alive on the American social security system. That's interesting. And then there are two, and it's not Colin Robin. There are two left at the bottom who are obviously Highlanders. Callum MacLeod and Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Yeah, there are two at the bottom who are between 240 and 369 years old. That's a cracker, isn't it? Police Scotland are in the news. So apparently Police Scotland are unable to identify an XL bully dog. Now, there's a lot of these dodgy looking dogs walking about in Scotland because did Scotland actually ban them or not? They are banned, aren't they? But yeah, there are a lot of these dodgy looking dogs walking about in Scotland, and they are quite scary. They're quite scary because they don't look like they'd be easily controlled if they had a go at you, if they came for you. I'm not comfortable about dogs like that because they're bred for one thing and they're bred to fight. Dogs that are bred to herd sheep and guard against wolves and things. They've got that inbreeding that they will target the thing that they're bred to do. But these things are bred to fight, and I just don't think it's. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right for the animals. I don't think it's right for humanity. You can't make this up, can you? The Democrat star speaker Dylan Hidler-Godet, Director of Government Affairs at the NGO, that's a non-governmental organisation, Project on Government Oversight, says he can't see any widespread abuse or waste from government spending. He is also blind and is literally unable to see anything. The perfect witness. It's a bit disingenuous, isn't it, really? Because just because he's blind, he should still be able to go he should still be able to do his job. Or did you like the blind Ugandan football in the update this morning? Donald Trump says, regarding the talks, it will be just me and Putin. We do not invite representatives of Europe. There will be no war for me, and if Europe has a problem with that, then let Russia defeat it on its own without American participation. Right, so that's from him saying that, the British press said that Donald Trump has just said that it's okay for Russia to attack the UK. I don't think that's what he actually said, is it? Not what he said. So it just shows you how the MSN will twist things. Speaking of twisting things, Mr. Zelensky here told the European leaders at the Munich Security Conference that Russia, Belarus and North Korea are planning a full-scale nuclear invasion of Europe. And he's urging Europe to take preemptive action. Now, he's done this a few times, hasn't he? Remember when he fired a missile into Poland and then asked NATO to take a preemptive nuclear strike against Russia? I don't know what the guy hopes to achieve, because he's right in the middle of it. Ukraine would just become glass. There'd be nothing left. Unless he's planning to zip away, which I think if the Ukrainians want to deal with him, then they'll need to keep him there. Then Zelensky went on further to say that if he can't join NATO, he will build his own NATO. If real NATO will not take him, he'll build his own and it will be better. Oh, God. He also said Russia's army is bigger than Ukraine's and Europe's army combined. Recently, he said they're decimated and losing. Now they're huge again. So, yeah. What's the truth? What do you tell me? What's the truth? Hiya, Fluffy. How you doing? Does this guy look happy? He definitely looks as if he's been castigated, doesn't he? This was him just waiting for an interview, I think. But he doesn't look like a happy chap. Imagine that after and he's just so Schultz has just ripped him a new one, and then he's going to go and see Trump next week, isn't he? That should be fun. I'd like to be a fly on the wall at that one. Tragic news for the Miliband's as a result of the Trump-Musk investigation into fraud and corruption, and USA Ed's brother David had lost his $1.2 million salary. That's a shame. And remember, Rory Stewart's wife, she lost $1 million as well. That's quite a shame. Heart's bleeding. Now, these are the kind of things that really they don't really upset me, but they annoy me, Please sorry for puppy ad that upset Muslims. Yeah, okay. Now, people are posting this as if it's news and as if it's breaking and all that. Now, it's from Tayside Police Dog Section. So how old is this article? Well, it has to be at least 13 years old. Tayside police doesn't exist and has never existed since the formation of Police Scotland. Therefore, Police Scotland was formed in 2013? So there's no Tayside Police in the last 13 years. So why drag up an article from over 13 years ago and then put it out as if it's news? Because I don't think it does good for anybody. It's doesn't help, does it? You know? I just find it annoying. So this is the Maha Kumbh Mela or whatever. I won't apologise because I regularly mispronounce things. But yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't care. So it's the largest human gathering ever, 450 million people over 6 weeks. It happens every 144 years, so it's not that common, you know, based on planetary alignment. And the Hindus believe a dip in the sacred river purifies the soul. So that's the Ganges, I guess. So they'll all be dipping in the Ganges. So it might purify the soul, but somehow I think the body's going to need a good wash after it. They do say it's incredibly well run and quite the spectacle. However, there was a mass stampede at Delhi railway station the other night, which killed, was it about 18 people or something, which is quite extraordinary. Now, remember when you're dipping in the sacred river, they have also installed floating bathrooms in the river. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty much going to say those bathrooms just evacuate straight down. I don't think they'll not be holding anything and pumping it out, because if they're in the middle of the river, it would be a complete nightmare logistically to get stuff to them, unless they've got a barge or something. But I think they might just be dumping it straight in the sacred river. Remember that when you're going for your dip, people. Yeah. I just had to include this. Sophie here. Mel Gibson fan 81 says she looks like she just tried to kill the Roadrunner with explosives, but it backfired. Which is a great explanation for the look that she's achieved there. I think it's fantastic. So let's Sideshow Bob. Oh. Meanwhile, John Greenwald asks if we're still seeing UFOs in New Jersey. So that's probably quite a good rendition of what the UFOs are doing, you know. What was it? 95% of them were planes and the rest were drones, I think. Now, here we go. Now, in all seriousness now, this guy's either got a death wish, or it's an elaborate method of, you know, terminating these or instigating an end of life plan, or he just doesn't have a clue. I don't know. This is the guy that pretended to be a woman for a while, and then realised he wasn't getting any traction because he was too late on the bandwagon. So he then turned back into a man, and now he's on his way to Gaza to help with the hostage situation, he says. But I think he's at it. I hope he's at it, because if he turns up dressed like that, saying what he is, then I think he's done. I shouldn't mock the afflicted. But this is this German politician who's asking for censorship of X and TikTok and that because of hearty words and, you know, misinformation. And I thought, she reminds me of someone, and it is Hugo Weaving, I think. So I posted this as a warning for people not to go vegan. So Hugo Weaving before he went vegan and after. Yeah, I thought it was quite humorous, I must admit. Musk is threatening to look into the Fort Knox gold status. I don't think anyone's ever been in there, so we don't know if there's gold in there or not. Hence, I thought this was quite witty, Schrodinger's gold. Because the gold is there, and it isn't there until you actually get to have a look at it and see if it is there or not. So quite interesting. There's also been reports of gold being shipped out of US banks in London back to America. Probably because if Trump is going to pull his troops out of Europe, then the banks are probably a bit worried that maybe Putin will take over the entire continent, including the UK. We can but hope. Yeah, I don't know what's in there, Robin. There's a whole conspiracy. I mean, there's a whole conspiracy theory about Fort Knox and everything. I mean, certainly China's been buying up a lot of gold, but they keep reporting that they haven't. So we know that China's been buying gold, but they're not saying that they've increased their stocks, which doesn't compute. So they've been buying gold from foreign countries. They've also been digging up gold because they've got good gold reserves. So where's all this gold that China are, putting together? Are they holding it in China? Yes. They won't put it in Fort Knox. So how much gold is there in Fort Knox? Nobody knows. The US were selling China fake gold. No, I can't remember that one, no. Imagine if they did that. Allegedly, the Chinese people own 23,000 tons of gold. I think it's more. Because they are mining it as well. And there you go, at last. Doctor Who is facing the axe as the lead star. Star's a bit of a stretch, but as the lead actor has quit amid woeful ratings and fans' fury at woke storylines. Well done, Disney. You've done it again. So it just seems to be that everything Disney touches these days turns to absolute rubbish. Why bother? So an institution, something that I loved watching when I was a kid, but it was good at the time. And some of the old episodes are still very, very watchable. But this new stuff, just crap, isn't it? Just the message just doesn't work, does it? Anyway, there we go. Tom Baker was fab. John Pertwee, though, was the Doctor. But there we go. So, I don't think the Black Captain America is going down very well either. That doesn't appear to be getting great reviews. I think Ben went to see it the other day and said, don't bother. Sean, my son, went to see it, but he's very forgiving of movies in general, so he seems to think it was okay. He says it wasn't that woke, but I've heard that it's not that woke, it's just bad. It's just generally bad. And again, it's Disney, isn't it? So there we go. That was nice and short. That was only 45 minutes. It's amazing how quickly you can get through 30 slides when it's just yourself. Nobody to argue with. I think I'd rather have someone to argue with, but sometimes I just have to do what I have to do. Ed's away playing Grasshopper this evening. I'm going to play you out with an oldie. I'm going to give you one of the old outros. So, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed this little contretemps this evening. And we will see you on Thursday with our new rabbit hole. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Well, I hope you'll enjoy it, but I'm sure you will. And it was great. You're right, Robin. It was great for you.
time for this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience to talk. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system.
You forgot Uranus.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work to.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.